What if I told you that a 20-year-old once conquered most of the known world before the age of 30? And what if I told you his death didn't mark the end of his legacy, but the beginning of chaos, innovation, and something eerily prophetic? Alexander the Great wasn't just a warrior, he was a force of nature, and today we're diving into his shocking legacy. Not just the battles, but the consequences that still echo through history. So strap in, because this story, it's part thriller, part tragedy, and completely unforgettable. Also, if you thought your 20s were stressful, imagine conquering the world by 25. Yeah, let's talk about that guy. Act 1, Rise of a Titan. It started in 356 BC. Born to King Philip II of Macedon and tutored by none other than Aristotle, Alexander was destined for greatness or disaster. By age 20, he wasn't just a prince, he was king. And what did he do with his crown? He didn't sit on a throne. He marched straight into Asia with a burning desire to do the impossible. Imagine inheriting your dad's car. Now imagine inheriting his entire empire, plus a lifelong feud with Persia. Alexander's military genius was absurd. At Issus, vastly outnumbered, he crushed Darius III. At Gaugamela, he didn't just win, he erased the Persian Empire. But Alexander wasn't satisfied. He didn't stop at victory. He wanted immortality, not through statues, but through impact. Transition with intrigue. But as his empire grew, so did the cracks in its foundation. And here's where things start to unravel in the most unexpected ways. Actus 2, Shocking Legacy unfolds. Alexander didn't just conquer lands, he conquered cultures. He spread Hellenism, Greek language, art, science, across Asia and Egypt. Cities like Alexandria became powerhouses of knowledge. He married Persian royalty, adopted foreign customs. He blurred the lines between West and East. Was he building a utopia or setting the stage for chaos? Pattern interrupt. Curious tone. Ever had a roommate who tried to blend cultures and it just led to spice wars in the kitchen? Alexander did that on a global scale. But here's the shocking part. His death at 32, no plan, no heir, no succession strategy. That's like building the world's biggest machine and tossing the manual into a volcano. Within days of his death, his empire split like shattered glass. The Diadochi Wars, brutal battles between his former generals, lasted for decades. Yet from this chaos rose unexpected greatness. The Library of Alexandria, birthplace of science and reason, a fusion of ideas that inspired Renaissance thinking centuries later. Even modern geopolitics in the Middle East echo the borders he redrew. Alexander didn't just leave an empire, he left a blueprint for global power and a warning of how ambition, unchecked, becomes a double-edged sword. Act 3, The Immortal Echo. You see, Alexander's real legacy wasn't just in the empires he built, but in the questions he left us with. What does it really mean to lead? Is it conquest or connection? His dream of a blended world was centuries ahead of its time, but his failure to plan for the future, that's a lesson modern leaders are still paying for. And here's the twist that no one saw coming. What if Alexander's death wasn't just a tragedy? What if it was necessary for the world to become what it is today? Because every time a global power rises, Every time cultures clash, merge, or divide, we're not just watching history repeat. We're watching Alexander's legacy play out again. So the next time someone calls you ambitious, just ask, are we talking job promotion ambitious or Alexander the Great ambitious? If you found this story as powerful and unsettling as we did, then make sure you subscribe. Because history isn't just about the past. It's a mirror to where we're heading next. And remember, greatness isn't about how much you conquer. It's about what you leave behind. Alexander's legacy was shocking. But the biggest shock? We're still living in its shadow.